Today, Kenya is the technology capital of East Africa and actually probably the technology capital of the entire continent. And we will talk about that and the digitalization actually of the continent. And I should also say, I think this is a recognition of the importance of Africa to the United States. Kenya is the country that's being honored, but it is I think it's a recognition that Africa is a very, very important continent, certainly to the world, but particularly to America in the next 20 years.
Why?
Well, as you well know, by 2050, 1 in 4 people on Earth will live in Africa, and 1 in 3 working-age people will live in Africa. So it's going to be the locus of population. It will be the youngest population. Therefore, it's the working age, and it will be the largest consumer market in 2050. So that makes everyone need to stand up and say, what are we going to do with Africa?
We have to ask an immigration consular question.
Yeah.
And with the great relations, people are going to travel back and forth. So it's easier for Americans to come here than it is for Kenyans to go to the US. And one of the big questions is spousal visas for individuals who may be on the other side and are not able to get their visas for their spouses to join them. And we're not talking about months, we're talking about years for this to happen. What's the holdup?
Yeah. So when I got here, but remember what happened during COVID is no one wanted to go anywhere. And the visa department, the consular department, is funded by visa fees. So during COVID, visa fees went to nothing. So there was no business. So all those consular officers went off into the other parts of the American government. I mean, I'm very pleased that we didn't lay anyone off, but they went and got other jobs. Then, when the demand started to rise again, we had to try to get all those people back. Do you remember when the airlines tried to get up and running? They had to bring the baggage handlers back and the flight attendants back and the pilots back. We had to find all these people to bring them back. When I got here, it was a 2-year wait for an interview.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of business process re-engineering. We got a bit more resources. I put out an all-points bulletin to the embassy. Anyone who's worked in consular in the last 5 years, it's your lucky day. You're coming back to consulate to get this under control. And we brought that wait down to 2 years. Then everyone in Kenya figured out they could get visas again, so the demand went back up. We brought that down. And the place that we still are far behind is the spousal visas, and we're working on it. I think there will be good resolution by the end of the year. But I feel badly about the fact that many of these spouses have been separated, families have been separated, and so we're working to get, you probably know there's 8 different kinds of visas to go to the United States. We've made progress on many of them, and we've made progress on that, but not enough.
So are we saying that it is a timing issue?
Yes.
As opposed to a refusal issue?
Oh, it's a timing issue.
Okay.
I mean, we do refuse people for visas for
yes.
very, very good reasons. Yeah. That's not the major problem here. It's actually a resource and a processing time issue.
So what would you say to the folks who are waiting and saying, okay, well, it's been 3 years.
Yeah. Hang in there. We're working on it. We're working on it, and I want to resolve it as fast as we can.
Do you think the cost for an American visa is justified?
I don't set those prices, and so it's hard for me to know. They do support, those visa fees do support a very large organization and a processing capability. And I don't think I had an appreciation as a private American citizen not working in the State Department of the very good work that the consular department does. It's a very difficult job. And, you're seeing hundreds of people a day, you're trying to make decisions, and you're very aware of the cost of being wrong. The cost of being wrong and letting in, for example, the 9/11 hijackers. It's a big problem. And so you have to be very thoughtful about, trying to do the right thing, to be fair to people, to be responsive, to be customer service oriented. At the same time, you have to be very thoughtful. About who you let in.
Because what we hear, very many complaints of people who have applied for an American visa.
Yeah.
They have endured the long waits. Finally, they get the day to go to the embassy. And just few minutes, they get the wrong slip.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Their money, their time gone.
Yes.
Without adequate explanation as to why they're not getting the visa.
Yeah.
So what do they need to improve on? So one of the issues is there room for an explanation, a better explanation instead of just giving somebody a slip?
Yeah.
And 2, is there room for partial or full refund of the visa fee, application fee?
There isn't room for a partial or full refund on the visa fee. That's just not the way the thing works. But it was a good try.
Family, hundreds of Africans do apply for the US visa each and every day, because everyone believes in the American dream. Many Africans believe that the US could easily change their lives, especially if they are not getting opportunities back here in the motherland. Many of us sought to going to the US. We see many Africans try to book that visa lottery, the green card, for them to secure opportunities in the US. Each and every year, hundreds of Africans do apply for the same opportunities in the US and hope that with time they could easily get the green card application, or rather the green card lottery. Many of us do this lottery each and every year. We actually pay to ensure that probably we may get an opportunity to fly to the US and probably start a whole new life in the US of A, because many of us Africans do believe in the American dream. Many of us do believe that if we go to the US, we can be able to get these opportunities, grab them, and run away with them, and probably change our lives and the lives of our family members. So, guys, recently, the ambassador of the US to Kenya had this interview at Spice FM here in Kenya, and some of the questions she was asked is about the US visa, and why many a times it takes time for Africans to be accepted to go to the US, or rather their visas being approved. And one of the reasons the able ambassador gave out was that many of these visas are rejected simply because that's how the counselors who work in the immigration, or rather who work in that sector, get to be earned, get to be paid. Sorry, that's how they get to earn money, through visa rejections. And we wonder why is visa rejection so rampant in Kenya and in Africa. You see, the whole process for the visa application is a scam with itself, because why would someone apply for a visa, then they pay even before they are interviewed? You know, I think what they should do is check the records, check the papers. If the systems, or rather if the human being so employed in the embassies sees that you do not qualify for the visas, you'd rather not be pushed to the interview, and you should not pay. You know, people should only pay after they've qualified to be interviewed as visa holders. Why would you like ensure that they pay first, then after they've paid, you're told after some time that your visa is rejected? You know, some of these people sell their animals, sell land, for them to get that plane ticket, for them to get that opportunity to go to the US. So it is so wrong, the system that they are using to try and eliminate Africans from flying to the US of A. Myself, I felt broken when I heard that's the way these employees are paid in these embassies. I think that's just a wrong strategy by the US Embassy in Kenya. I think they can do better about this issue. If you're a keen listener, you will notice the ambassador to Kenya from the US mentioned two major things. Number one is that Africa is a land of opportunities. And the other thing she said is that Africa is so important to the US and the rest of the world. And when she said Africa is a land of opportunities, I even thought of the issues with the visa. And I thought that they really do benefit from visa applications from Africans, because we do that in thousands each and every day. And all these numbers do pay a fee for them to be able to apply for these visas, and it's crazy, and I just think that it's unacceptable, and there should be better ways for these applications. People should only pay after they are assured that now, you know, their papers are right, their paperwork are as needed, and now the only thing remaining is for them to pay for the legal fees for this process to be fastened, you know, rather for this process to run smoothly. But asking for fees before the processes start, even when they know really well that you won't succeed with the application, I just think that is wrong, and I think that that is taking away money from people undeservingly. You know, if they told people that they can pay, but if it does not work, your money can easily be returned. That would also make a lot of sense, because I do believe that a lot of people are struggling for them to try and get these funds to pay for the processes of visa application. We've also heard of this issue of couple visas. A couple could be easily separated because one of them is in the US and the other one cannot get access, and you wait and wait, there's backlogs, you know. I really hope that as the ambassador is saying, that hopefully in future they are able to fasten all these processes, because myself I'd say without fear of contradiction that it is unfair for Africans to pay for these visas if the officials in the embassies know good well that the visas would not be approved. I just think that that should just be done with, and it's something that should not be accepted, and they should come up with new rules that would govern the process of visa application. And guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Kindly do consider subscribing to my channel. You can as well speak down below, let me know what you think of the video. What do you think of the directive of the US Embassy to Africans, the transition of Africans coming from Africa to the US, the visa application fees, and all these processes and backlogs? Let me know what you think on the comment section down below. See you all in my next video. Goodbye for now.